trying to explain imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is not necessarily that your IQ is not you know or that you're admitted under affirmative action. That's not imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is basically um, it's basically like um, it's like when someone says something in a conversation but they don't want, it's like they say a follow-up statement. It's like a disclaimer. Um, when you're watching, it's like a naturopath or alternative health person having a disclaimer saying these statements. So, the medical doctor, not approved by the FDA. Yeah, it's basically a disclaimer. It's basically a lot like that. Um, that's what impulsive syndrome is. And I'm like, um, I mean, there are people on the internet have stories about, you know, they're in a position, they don't feel that don't, they don't feel they should be there. They should, they often struggle with the idea that maybe they should drop out or whatever. So, no, they don't want to know, right? It just, the correct term is they basically, um, it's like, it's like when a woman says certain, um, or sometimes it could be a man to a woman too, but it's like if some women they have a relationship partner that's a man that and they just say these things and if they and if the other and if their partner has a certain response that prompts them to break up with them later, right? Like a test, right? So imposter syndrome is a lot like it's a little bit like that, right? It's like a disclaimer saying, oh, you might observe that I look a certain way, so I'm gonna say that I have imposter syndrome. That doesn't mean that they. I mean, if they really are a different ethnicity group and it's a minority, then um, perhaps sometimes they might get some. There might be some people that, just like, you don't look, you look different, you look physically different from everyone else. So, um, but in reality, they fit it. They do actually think they belong there. Um, it's just that it just it's just making this claim of imposter syndrome. Um, Now we have seen this year that the Supreme Court has banned affirmative action. Well, previously they just banned racial quota. Now they have banned affirmative action entirely. So, is imposter syndrome anything remarkable? No, I mean it's not really that much different than um, like there's a certain type of person that on the internet that likes to diagnose others, even if they're not a psychiatrist or they don't have a medical degree. It's just like it's very annoying, in my opinion. Imposter syndrome is a lot like that. If you ever encountered that type of person, imposter syndrome is a lot like that, right? But they're diagnosing themselves as imposter, right? So, it's just like, um, now why did I make a video about this? Because, um, I could have just made a video about this type of person that likes to diagnose others, even if they're not a psychiatrist or doctor, right? Or they're not even in medical school as a student. It's like maybe they're not even pre-med either. for undergrad. It's like it's a certain behavior pattern I keep seeing from certain types of people, right? It's like, um, are they trying to get sympathy? Is imposter syndrome a person trying to get sympathy? Not necessarily. Um, you're not trying to get sympathy. No, that's not correct. It's just a behavior pattern that is observed that they have to provide a disclosure. But it's not like they're not going to get in legal trouble. They didn't say that they had imposter syndrome because the disclaimer for example, the example I gave with the medical doctor, the statements you must see action on, or uh, not approved of the FDA from these natural. They have to provide those statements, otherwise they could get sued or even arrested. So they are legally required to put that there. Um, because there have been people who did not provide those statements. You know, and the example given is there have been people prosecuted for these things in America. There are examples of it. Some may have gotten there. If they have previously been a medical doctor, maybe they got their license revoked. Maybe some of them had to leave the country and to practice their craft. They genuinely wanted to you know, provide a service for these patients. Because, maybe them curing a certain disease gives them joy and had to leave the country to continue that. Um, I suppose even raw milk is kind of similar. It is illegal in some states in the United States. Would it be easier to go to a different state? No. Um, um, so imposter syndrome is a lot. It's not like raw milk, but it's imposter syndrome is like providing disclaimer. Um, but they're not legally obligated. It's like a weird thing. They have a certain need for it that only they understand. Um, and most likely, if they say they have imposter syndrome, they've already found a support group from, I don't know, could be in real life, in person, or it could be on the internet, or could be both. So they found their support group and they use those terms. Change it. That's all I can say about